All right.
Connected. Everybody, it's Tommy Vext. What's shaking, bacon?
Chilling, man. How are you?
What's up, bro?
I like your background. How does that?
It's a virtual background.
Yeah, you had to insert your own, right? And then it's just like, you're like, ooh.
Yeah. Now, Tommy, you're on a phone, yeah?
I am.
Okay,
Yeah.
if you move your phone into like landscape mode like that, it'll kind of, that's much better. That'll look better once we produce the whole video.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you're on a PC and you move your mouse over to where it says stop video, there's a little upward arrow and it'll give you the option to insert a virtual background, and it'll take any picture that's on your PC and make that into your background. It's kind of cool.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. Now I got to figure out how to keep my phone from falling.
Hey, Jay, we got to send Tommy a little tripod for his phone.
There you go.
I had one. My ex-girlfriend kept it. She needs it for modeling or whatever, because Instagram modeling is like being a soldier in a video game.
That's cool. And for whatever reason, Hagen's using an iPhone, and now Hagen is sideways. It looks like it didn't work. Yeah, we all got to do this to talk to Hagen. Hey, so Tommy, thank you very much for taking the time out to do this virtual fan interview. Everybody here who's on this call, aside from the dude in the red O'Neill shirt, is just a fan. I mean, the guy in the red O'Neill shirt's a fan, but he's kind of my co-host, and he's been participating in a lot of these virtual fan interviews. We've done quite a few, and you've been in the media quite a bit lately. What are your feelings with all this COVID stuff, man? You know, it's tough. You put out a new album. You got a great song with Sober. Oh, my God, what a smash that thing is. And then you can't afford to support it. How are you feeling through all this stuff, man?
I mean, I don't really, it's not like, that's an interesting question. I don't care about that. I'm getting in a lot of trouble because I'm not a politician, and I don't give a shit. I just say the truth. My concerns about my concerns about putting out a record and touring are the smallest. I don't even think about that. I could give less of a shit. I'm concerned about my feelings are that there's a war on the global economy.
Yeah.
You know, and sorry, I got Chris Daughtry's texting me that. Like, I'm okay. Like, I'm gonna be okay. Like, I have a lot of outrage. It's not even outrage. I'm just being outspoken about the inconsistencies of what the mainstream media is telling us, the fear broadcasting, and then on a state-by-state basis, the lockdown orders seem to be overextended. And it seems like they're basically hijacking the coronavirus pandemic, which, what was told to us in the beginning, what was going to happen, everyone responded responsibly. We had to do what we had to do to make sure that we followed orders to flatten the curve. As more information and data keeps coming out, it seems that it was over-exaggerated and that we can get back to life. And now it seems like certain states with certain governors that lean toward certain political leanings are invested in continuing the lockdown for their own political means. And it's not constitutional, and it's in violation of the Bill of Rights. And people are not having it. And so, yeah, do I care about going on tour and supporting a single? No, I don't care about that. I care about what fucking good is it going to be to go on tour if we don't live in a free country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Hey, but by the way, Autumn Myers is asking to join. Should I let Autumn in? You know Autumn, right, Tommy?
Yeah, she works at the label. She's probably going to butt in if I start saying things that are politically incorrect. So actually, don't even let her in. Don't worry about
it.
Jay has control of the mute button, Tommy.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. But Tommy, by the way, congratulations. You just celebrated another year of sobriety. How many is this for you now, man?
I turned 11 years sober on Monday, so thanks, man. I appreciate it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a good ride, dude. So I'm no stranger to hardship, and I know that it takes a lot it takes a lot of discipline, and I think it takes a lot of reliance on community and positive actions to change your life. And that's kind of the message. That's what the message Sober is about. It's not just about the alcoholic. It's not that, Our Single is not written just about me being an addict. It's actually tells the story of the whole family dynamic involved, and I spent years working in treatment. I ran a men's sober living. I became a sober companion, which is a personal drug and alcohol counselor, a one-on-one traveling companion for certain celebrities, athletes, artists, and things, helping them because they can't go to rehab because they have to go to work and they're celebrities, and it would be disruptive to the other people's recovery in those facilities. So, I've seen a lot of families get torn apart. I'm part of a family that was destroyed by alcoholism and drug addiction and mental health, unchecked mental health issues. And so, my work with those people has been the way that I healed my family traumas, by helping other families heal their situations where there were people in my family I could never save. And so it's a good ride, and it's been a great life, and I'm in a good place.
That's awesome.
Despite all this stuff going on outside of myself.
And early on with this whole pandemic and the lockdown, I was thinking to myself, for folks who have got alcohol challenges or drug challenges, or people maybe new to the program that can't get in and can't go to a meeting, or especially people who are having to go through quarantine alone. It's got to be really, really difficult. I know that the singer for Blue October, Justin Furstenfeld, has been doing 12-step meetings virtually, kind of like this, every single Tuesday, for folks who can't go to a meeting in their city. If you could give maybe a piece of advice to somebody who might be new into the program, trying to get through this, what would that be?
Well, I mean, I'm doing the same thing. I do Zoom meetings. I'm a part of a few different sober groups. There's a group that I'm one of the founding members of called the St. Francis Group, and it's SFG, and it's a group of rock stars in recovery. And so every day we do a Zoom meeting. Then there are just various meetings. Like when this thing first happened, I was doing like 3-4 Zoom meetings a day, and then I got burnt out. So one is good. I've spoke a lot on Zoom meetings, and now I sponsor people, and I'll FaceTime with my sponsees, and we'll do work together. And thank God we have technology, and we can still stay connected to each other, because we need that. And that's even if you're not an alcoholic or an addict. It's really important to stay connected to the people that we love through these means, and because not everyone is an alcoholic or an addict. A lot of people are suffering from depression, there are various mental health issues, there's just so much. There's so much to consider when people are locked down and can't go out, and so it's just like we have to, we got to check on our friends. We got to check on our families. We got to check on our strong friends. That's one thing I always say. Like a lot of people, sometimes we all have that friend that's really strong that you think they don't need anything. That's usually the person you need to call, because they feel a responsibility to always help everyone else, but they don't feel like they can ask for help. And so I try to make it a point to reach out to my friends who are to just make sure they're okay, because they're the last it's easy to call my train wreck homies, because I'm like, oh, Billy's going to be fucking freaking out when the news will say something like murder hornets. I'm like, all right, Jerry, are you okay? He's like, did you see there's murder hornets now, and it's craziness. So, it's just I'm literally, as we're talking, I'm getting 300 text messages about this Post Malone cover I did from like all different people in the industry. And I'm just like, I don't know if there's a way to turn that all like text messages off on Zoom, but I should have figured that out.
It's all right,
Tommy, it's funny you mentioned a Post Malone cover. I was really thinking about the obviously the Zombie cover is one that really boosted what you guys do and your message and everything else. And I thought about Dolores O'Riordan, and I was a Cranberries fan. I'm obviously old enough to know those guys and to have followed them in my youth. What motivates you as an artist to do a cover, be it Zombie or be it something from Post Malone or whatever else?
To get better as a singer. Zombie was a song that was done. We didn't have any affiliation with Dolores when we did that. It was just like, oh, we should do this. And when I was a kid, the way that I taught myself how to sing, I could never afford lessons or anything. So I would sing along to my tape player, and I bought a crappy microphone that would plug to my radio, and I taught myself how to sing at home. And then I would go to the band. I was in a band since I was 13 or 14, and I would go to my friend Mike's garage and with my shitty microphone, and I was like, I have to show up prepared. And we played covers, like we played like White Zombie and Pantera and Metallica and stuff, and we were terrible. But I was like, I gotta, because they would practice. I don't play an instrument, and so that just always stayed with me. And my father was a big fan of the Beatles, and he made me hip to the fact that the Beatles started out as a cover band, and so I go in and I record songs I cannot. If I hear a song, I'm like, yo, it's so great, I can't sing that. I go into the studio and I record it to piano. So a lot of these newer covers that we're putting out on Patreon, they were just me and a piano that I've done over time to get better at singing Bad Wolf songs. And and basically when the COVID hit, and all the touring went away and all this stuff went away, we basically what is going on today? Post Malone just called me. No, I'm just kidding. How crazy would that be? I'd be like, I gotta go, guys. No,
bring him on the Zoom.
Right? Just like, hey man, I'm on this link. Woo. So I just record songs that I can't sing, or I think I can't sing. And so I have all these songs from Linkin Park to Lana Del Rey to Post Malone to Hozier, of all these like epic vocalists, and then I try to do my spin on them. And then when we started a Patreon, we had some B-side songs that we made available, and then we ran out of material. And I was like, hey, I got all these. Like, I recorded these songs, and so the guys were like, oh, like, why don't we let's just add instruments to it. So slowly, that's kind of what happened, and then I'm trying to find out how to get my phone to stay in place. It just won't work. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to rubber band it.
All good. It's all good. Hey, Tommy, while we're going through this, obviously, we're limited on time here because Zoom only gives us 40 minutes, but we did bring on some fans here. I would like to allow them to ask a question. Cheryl, let's start with you. Cheryl's out in her car. She just got done having a smoke break, and she works at Sally's. So if you ever need any hair care products, I guess Cheryl's the one to contact.
You come see me.
I can see you. Hey, Cheryl.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm just hanging, hanging. Are you at work?
I am.
Oh,
my staff can wait. They can wait. This is important.
Yeah, just keep them. Yeah, they're good. They're over there.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, Cheryl, what's your question for Tommy today?
Okay. I was up all night thinking of this. I need to find go. Okay. So some music you can hear, some music you can feel just down in your soul. And Zombie is that song not only for me, but for my crew. How has that song and that experience influenced the music that you do today?
Well, I
I'm
think
getting emotional here.
yeah, I think artists like Dolores. I was a fan of the Cranberries from the '90s, and I think that a lot of the music that I gravitate towards to are heavily about lyrics that are telling the truth. And Dolores was very honest, and she used her platform to talk about issues that were important. You know, like the history behind Zombie is a protest anthem written about the IRA bombings in Warrington, England, and the little kids who were killed in the factory bombing, and how that affected two nations. You know, and then the Cranberries were this big, massive band that came out of Ireland that, you know, and they had Linger, and then they dropped that, and it was like kind of like it really, they took their platform and they made the world look at a situation that a lot of people might not have realized was going on and needed to change. And so, you know, I think that with the band we have, you know, it's like I've been getting a lot of heat this week. They were saying because in the press I've been outspoken about the current state of affairs, but it's like people forget our first album's called Disobey. We have songs called No Master and No Messiah and The Conversation and Officer Down. And I'm like, I'm not a stranger to, like, I'm not, you know, you look at Remember When, I have no problem with being completely transparent about my own trials and tribulations. And I'm not going to shy away from talking about the effects that public officials and their negligence have on the working class people, you know? And so I think I come from a generation as a fan of musicians and artists who tell the truth and say real shit. And I think that we're living in a time where most artists they're pussies, to be honest. They're afraid to lose their fans. They're afraid to say anything that might be taken as controversial. They're afraid to say anything that people are going to disagree with. And so you take in recording artists, and because of social media, it's bastardized them into being politicians. So now everyone is just saying the same candy-coated bullshit. And so I think artists like the Cranberries and, you know, artists like System of a Down and Korn and, you know, Soundgarden or Alice in Chains and Rage Against the Machines and, you know, Biggie Smalls and Tupac and NWA and Public Enemy, these people they said real shit. And, you know, Bob Dylan, you know, you could go as far back as you want, Janis Joplin, you know, Jimi Hendrix. So, you know, I think music artists have a responsibility to tell the truth. That's what we do.
Yeah. A good question, Cheryl. I'm gonna tempt a bad phone with Hagen over here. Shocking, it's an iPhone. Hagen, I'm unmuting you. If you can hear me and say something or do something, or your video moves or whatever, I'm going to give you about 5 seconds to ask your question for Tommy Vext as I continue to try and unmute you. And looks like I might be unsuccessful here. So, and we're running out of time, so I'm going to move right along to Tyler Malloy. Tyler, welcome to the discussion. Where are you beaming into the Zoom room from, and what's your question for Tommy Vext?
I'm from Friendly, Nevada, and a question I have for Tommy would be, in the song Remember When, what is it that you wish you would have known? Like, what that you wish you would have known?
Well, in the lyrics, when it's if I only knew then what I know now.
Yeah.
I think if I had a better understanding many years ago of the nature of my brother's mental health disease and the severity of what he was capable of and what he would become, I would have let him go out of my life a long time ago.
How is how's your brother now?
We don't speak. He's currently serving a 17 to 20 year sentence in a maximum facility prison in upstate New York.
Now, unfortunately, it seems like, you know, the land of incarceration like that, there's not a lot that they do to help rehabilitate people or give them some of the mental health, you know, guidance or, you know, rehabilitation that they need. Do you feel that your brother over the next 17 years might be able to get his mind right, or?
It's doubtful. I don't think correction facilities are corrective, and I think that my brother's drug abuse has exacerbated his mental health issues to a place where he's not in reality. I think that he's my mother still has a speaking relationship with my brother, and so they'll talk on the phone once a month or twice a month. But he is in full flight from reality, and he plans to murder me when he gets out of jail. And
really,
yeah, he's not well.
Oh my God, that's got to be you're going to be living in fear in 17 years. Dang, I cannot imagine.
I believe in the Second Amendment, so
yeah,
you're good.
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine.
Well, you've done some amazing collaborations. It's interesting. A lot of folks are throwing up their last photo, right? You remember the last photo before everything got locked down, right? And one of my last ones was we were at a corn show, and I see this gal out in the lobby who's got this bright blue hair, like bubblegum blue hair. And I walked up to her, and this is here in Reno, and I said, you look a lot like my friend Diamante, and I bet that if I took a selfie with you and then posted it and tagged Diamante in there, that she would kind of dig that. And we kind of laughed for a second. She goes, "Oh, interesting." And I went in the restroom and I came back out and I said, that is Diamante. So I went back over and I'm like, wow, you played that one really, really well. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing here in Reno? The point of my question is, with all these collaborations you've done, what's one of the big ones on the bucket list? If you could collaborate with anybody right now that was just like, oh my God, I would love to be able to do a song with insert artist here. I'm sure there's many, but is there a one?
I mean, you got to understand, dude, like this just happened to me like a week ago today. Chris Daughtry cold called me.
Chris is an amazing singer.
Yeah, I mean, he put me to work, dude. He sings circles around me, so I had to get better. And so we did a single for his new record, which you guys are going to get in a couple months, I'm sure. And we did a cover of Temple of the Dog's Hunger Strike.
Wow.
And we're trying to figure out how that's going to get released. We want to donate the proceeds to the American Food Bank in Chris Cornell's name and honor his memory.
Very cool.
That's what's in the works right now. So anybody else
on this video right now? Does anybody else know this information?
No, people know about it, but it's not out. The song is not out. You can't get it. You can't hear it. I posted a clipping of it, and everyone was like, "Take it down, take it down."
Yeah, I'm sure.
So the final mixes are being done now, and I think that who else would I like to collaborate with? I don't know. I think it would be cool to do something with Post Malone. I think it would be cool to do something with Lady Gaga. I think I think collaborating outside of my genre, I'd love to do a Lana Del Rey song or maybe something with The Weeknd, but it's not. I'm in the rock genre, and so we don't really have a lot of opportunities to cross over and cross out of that, and so we'll see. Like again, I'm doing a solo album during this whole lockdown thing, and so it's not going to be there's going to be live instruments, but it's not going to be it's not going to sound like Bad Wolves.
Are you finding yourself writing more or less with the whole quarantine thing? Because I've talked to a lot of artists.
Way more.
Really?
More.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of folks are saying like the stress and just they're getting big time writer's block.
Yeah, but most of these people are not like me. You have to understand. Like I've been in the witness protection program with someone hired to murder me. I have been homeless. I have been a drug addict. I have had my child killed. Like I've been through real shit. And so when shit gets real, I get to work. And that's just the difference. Like that's me. Everyone else's process is relative to them, but I just also never stop working. The band goes on breaks and we come home from tour and I record music. I never stop working because I don't want to get stale. And I'm an addict. It feels good to make art. So I keep doing it. I'm an overachiever, I guess. I don't know. It's like I don't know.
So Tommy, the stuff you're writing now, is it about our current situation? How much of it is there? We had a conversation the other day about how stuff that comes out now about the whole quarantine, the coronavirus, and all that. It's going to get lost in history in that respect. It's if you look at this, it's a relatively short amount of time in the greater scheme of things. So are you inspired to write about the current political climate? Are you writing about this whole medical virus thing? What tends to be the subject right now?
I mean, look, I don't really. I think I'm not. I'm not really focusing writing around the pandemic. I think there's going to be hundreds of shitty metal bands who try to capitalize off what's happening, who are just going to make more shitty, fucking just another shitty metal record that they made the last 20 of the exact same thing, and they're just like, "Oh, let's call it pandemic," or like, whatever. So I'm not interested in doing anything that's like that. Are we going to have a song, or will there be a song that touches down on some of the stuff that's going on? Most likely, yes. But will we make an entire album about it? No, because in the grand scheme of things, this is a hiccup. It's a hiccup in the machine, and it's a hiccup in mankind's ingenuity and our perseverance as a human race. And I think that after COVID, life after this whole thing is over, you're not going to really be able to be prejudiced anymore, whether it comes to people's religion or race or age or how much money they make. Because if the virus jumps from an animal to the human race, that means the whole race. So there can't be any other races. We're human beings, and that we have a common enemy, which is, this virus situation. And I think it's going to be interesting to see after the elections. It's going to be interesting to see, what happens if this thing gets swept under the rug like it never happened. How long the lockdowns are going to stay pushed in states that have Democratic governors. I feel like the government is hijacking COVID-19 now as it was a serious situation. We thought it was going to be worse. It's contained to a degree, and we're still understanding it, but it's being used to defraud the American people in an attempt to destroy the economy that Trump built, because people don't like Trump.
I agree 100%.
And they're doing it at the expense of the American people. And there should be accountability. And I think that the mainstream media and our elected officials should be held accountable to the highest courts of law when this whole thing is over, for colluding to destroy and defraud the American people, because we're the victims of their power struggle.
Hey, Tommy,
yeah.
We've got less than a minute here, man. I just want to, I want to be able to wrap this up and thank you again for your time. We roll into this weekend, Memorial Day weekend. We honor the fallen soldiers that have fought for this country. And I hope you can honor them in your own personal way and have a great weekend. So thank you very much for taking.
Yeah, I honor them by upholding freedom of speech that they died for, so that this country can live free of tyranny and oppression, whether it be foreign or domestic. So thanks.
Right
Thank
on,
you,
brother.
Tommy.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Hope to see you soon.
All right, later.